Greetings to all. Welcome to Future Officers Academy. Today we are going to see the daily current affairs of July 15th. Today we are going to discuss the topics are Treasury of Jagannath Temple in Puri, which was opened after 46 years, which comes under GS 1 paper Art and Architecture. The next topic is palimpsest, a historic emblem of reuse, which we have to know under prelims perspective. Next, on the jurisdiction of the CBA, which comes under GS2 paper under Indian polity. Next, the union government's reign financial transfer to different states, which comes under same GS2 under Indian polity paper. Next, Assure committee. We have to know about that PVTG in news. Next, the editorial analysis, and finally the mapping. So today our first topic is Treasury of Jagannath Temple in Puri after opened after 46 years. So after 46 years, the sacred treasure of Sri Jagannath Temple, Puri, known as Ratna Bandha, was reopened amid years of legal battles, controversies, and debates about the Ratna Bandha. The Ratnabandha stores the gold and jewels offered by the devotees to their deities Lord Jagannath, Lord Balbhandra, and Goddess Subhadra. It is located adjacent to the prayer hall of the north side of the temple. It consists of two sections, the Bidar Bandar, that is inner treasury, and the Bahar Bandar, that is outer treasury, with the last inventory in 1978 noting significant amounts of gold and silver items in both chambers. Legend says Odisha's king Anangabhima Dev, which is from 100 1211 to 1238 period, donated 2.5 lakh madas of gold to prepare jewelry for the Almighty. The Odisha government passed the Jagannatha Temple Act 1952 to have a greater role in temples management, which included maintaining an inventory of offerings in the Puri Collectorate record room. Next, the recent developments under this have been seen is the safety of Ratnabandha is managed by the temple committee chaired by the titular king of Puri and includes IAS officers and other state appointed members. Originally, keys to Ratnabandha were held by the Puri royal family temple committee and collectorate, with significant changes in ownership and access protocols over the years due to legal rulings. The recent reopening involved breaking the locks of inner chamber as they could not be opened traditionally following script procedures. Now about the Jagannath Puri temple. The Jagannath temple is an important Vaishnava temple dedicated to Jagannath, a form of Sri Krishna in Puri in Odisha. The present temple was rebuilt from the 10th century onwards on the site of an earlier temple and began Anantavarma Chodangadeva and the first king the Eastern Ganga dynasty. The Puri temple is famous for its annual Ratha Yatra, or the chariot festival, in which the three principal deities are pulled on huge and elaborately decorated with temple cars. Now we have to know about their architecture. With its cultural richness and fluidity of the Oriya style of temple architecture, it is one of the most magnificent monuments of India. The huge temple complex covers an area of over 400,000 square feet, and it is surrounded by a high fortified wall. This 20 feet high wall is known as Meghanada Pacheri. Another wall was known as Kurmabeda surrounds the main temple. The temple has four distinct section structures. They are Dula, Vimana or Garbhagriha, Sanctum Sanctorum, which were trade deities or lodged on Ratnavedi, that is stone and pearls in Rekla Dula style. Next is Mukashala, the front porch. Next, the Nata Mandir or Nata Mandapa, which is also known as the Jagamohan, that is audience hall or dancing hall, and Boha Mandapa, that is the offerings hall. So these are under the architecture. With this, we have to know about the questions which have been discussed in previous year 2012. So the Nagara, the Dravida and Vasara are the what style they are asking? The answer is C. They have three main styles of Indian temple architecture. Our next question is, palm set a historic emblem of reuse. Here, a palmacet is a reused parchment page with original text scrapped or washed off, leaving traces called underwriting. Scholars decipher these traces to access historical texts. The term, also metaphorical, describes as eroded craters in astronomy and successive geological features formed at the same location over time. Now we have to know about the palimpsest. So, what is the definition of it? Its definition is a page or manuscript from which the original text has been scrapped or washed off to make room for new writing. The historical use is, historically, parchment made from untanned animal skins, especially goats, was expensive, leading to its reuse. Now, what are the methods of erasure? Early methods involved using milk and oat bran to wash off text, often leaving faint traces known as underwriting. In the late medieval period, pumice was used as a scrap of text more permanently. Now, what are the scholarly importance in here? The modern scholars decipher underwritings to access historical texts employing techniques like machine learning. Now, famous example for its notable works that have survived as palimpsests include the Sana's palimpsest, the Archimedes palimpsest, and Cicero's De Republica. The famous ones are Sana's palimpsest, the Archimedes palimpsest, and finally the Cicero's De Republica. So these are the famous notable works. Now, metamorphical uses, the term used in other fields such as astronomy, refers to eroded craters on planetary bodies. In geology, it describes natural features created by successive structures at the same location over a time. So with this, we'll discuss the UPSC question which have been asked in previous year 2014. The national motto of India, Satyameva Jayante, inscribed below the emblem of India, taken from, the answer is Mundaka Upanishad. So our next topic is on the jurisdiction of the CBI. So in this we have to know about what is in news first. The Supreme Court upheld West Bengal's suit against the union government's use CBI despite state withdrawal as general concern, citing constitutional overreach. Ruling emphasized center's administrative control over CBI under DSPE Act, setting a precedent for federalism and jurisdictional disputes between center and states. With this, we have to know about Central Bureau of Investigation. The CBI was established by the resolution of the Ministry of Home Affairs and later transferred to the Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievance and Pensions, currently functioning as an attached office. It established as recommended by the Santanam Committee on Prevention of Corruptions. The CBI operates under the DSPE Act in 1946. It is neither a constitutional nor a statutory body. It investigates cases related to bribery, governmental corruption, breaches of central laws, multi-state organized crime, and multi-agency or international cases. Now, what are the general consent and CBI jurisdictions in here? General consent is under Section 6 of the Delhi Special Police Establishment Act 1946. The CBI requires prior consent from the state governments to conduct investigations with their jurisdictions, except in union territories and railway areas. Several states, including West Bengal, withdrew their general consent, alleging misuses by the center against opposition parties. Now, what are the West Bengal allegations and suit here? West Bengal filed an original suit under Article 131 of the Constitution in August 2021, arguing that the Union government's action violated its sovereignty by allowing the CBI to register cases despite the withdrawal of concern. The state sought the annulment of 12 cases and bar of further investigations by the agency. Now, Apex Court verdict and implications. Here, the apex court ruled the suit presented a valid case of action and should proceed to full hearing on its merits. It underscored that while CBI retains operational autonomy, the center's administrative control over its functioning is significant. This decision has broader implications for federal relations, particularly concerning states' autonomy in policy matters under the Constitution. Here, the Supreme Court decision affirms the constitutional principles of federalism while recognizing the center's government supervisory role in a CBI. The final ruling on West Bengal should will likely influence future interactions between center and state regarding law enforcement and jurisdictional disputes, impacting the balance of power in India federal structure. So with this, we'll see the question which have been asked in the UPSC in 2021. The jurisdiction of Central Bureau of Investigation (CBI) regarding lodging an FIR and conducting probe with particular state is being questioned by various states. However, the power of states to withhold consent to the CBI is not absolute, explained with special reference of federal character in India. So this question was asked in UPSC means 2021. So our next topic is the union government's reign on financial transfers to different states, such as it deals with about federal structure. So since the 14th Finance Commission, India's union government has reduced financial transfer of states despite recommendations to increase devolution, rising cess and surcharge collections and centralized schemes like CSS and SEC further centralized fiscal control, posing challenges to cooperative federalism and state financial autonomy. Now, overview of these recommendations and the actual transfers. The 14th Finance Commission recommended a significant increase in devolution of states from 32% to 42% of union tax revenues, aiming to enhance fiscal autonomy. Since its implication in 2015 to 16, there has been a noticeable reduction in financial transfers from the union government to states. Now, what are the impact of cess and surcharges? A significant factor contributing reduced state share is increasing collection from cess and surcharge, which roses from 5.9% in 2015 to 16 and 10.8% in 2023 to 2024. These funds not shared with states are primarily used for union government schemes, thus limiting states' is fiscal space. Next, the centralization of public expenditure. With reduced devolution and grants in aid, the union government retains more discretionary funds, impacting equity in resource distribution among states. Central sector schemes and central sponsored schemes further centralize expenditure. Next, the central sponsored scheme, that is CSS dynamic central sponsor scheme. This requires states to match funds, favoring wealthier states capable of contributing, exacerbating interstate financial disparities. Allocation for CSS increased from 2.4 lakh crore to 4.76 lakh crore between 2015 to 16 and 2023 to 24, underscoring the union government's influence over state spending priorities. Next, the anti-federal fiscal policy concerns. Non-statutory grants through CSS and CSEC schemes amounting to 12.6% of gross tax revenue are tied to specific schemes limiting states' flexibility in public expenditure. It is combined with fiscal deficit of 5.9% of GDP. The union government retains sustainable financial power with comparatively limited expenditure obligations. Now, the outlook of the future and challenges. The 15th Finance Commission retained the state's share at 41% and the 42% included Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh despite union government pressures for downward reversions. This scenario raises concerns about cooperative federalism and equitable resource distributing among states, crucial for balanced economic growth and development. With this, we have to see the UPSC prelims practice question. Which of the following statement with regard Constitution of Finance Commission is are correct? The government of India had recently constituted the 16th Finance Commission under the chairmanship of Dr. Arvind Panagria. Next, the Finance Commission was constituted pursuant of Article 263 of the Constitution of India. Here the answer is D, the none of the above. So both are wrong. Our next topic is Ashur community. So first we have to know about why it is in news. The Gumalda district administration in Jharkhand was announced that the Ashur community, a particularly vulnerable tribal community, that is PVTG, residing in the Netharhat Plateau region of Gumla, will soon benefit from the Forest Rights Act FRA 2006. Now we have to know about this Ashur community. This community are very small Austroasiatic ethnic group living primarily in Indian state of Jharkhand, mostly in Gumla, Lohardaga, Palamu and Ladhar districts. A small minority lives in neighboring states also. They are included in the list of particularly vulnerable tribal groups. As per the 2011 census, the tribe has population of around 23,000. They speak Ashur language, which belongs to Munda family of Austroasiatic languages. Now, what are the occupations of them? They had traditional iron smelters. They were once hunters gatherers, having also been involved in the shifting agriculture. However, the majority of them shifted into agriculture, with 91.19% enlisted as cultivators in 2011 census. The indigenous technology of iron smelting gives them a distinct identity, as they claim to have descended from the ancient Asuras, who were associated with the art of metal and craft. When smelting, the Ashur women sing a song relating the furnace to an expectant mother, encouraging the furnace to give healthy baby. Good quality and quality of iron from the ore and were then, according to Bira, associated with the fertility cult. But nowadays, a major section of population is also attached to the mining work. With this, we have to see the social structure of the community. This community has divided into 12 clans. So Ashur clans are named after different animals, birds and food grains. Family is the second most prominent institute after the clan. They have their own community council that is called as Jati Panch. It where the disputes are settled. They maintain putative kinship ties with Karwar, Munda and other neighboring tribes. Except for the burial site, they share all other public spaces with their neighbors. Traditional male clothing is dhoti, while females wear tattoo marks depicting totemic objects upon their bodies as ornaments. The Ashur follow the rule of monogamy, but in cases barrenness, widower, and widowhood, they follow the rule of bigamy or even polygamy. At the time of marriage, they follow the rule of tribe endogamy. The religion the Ashur follow is the mixture of animism, animatism, naturalism, and ancestral worship. With this, we have to know about Forest Rights Act 2006. First, the purpose. It was recognized and based forest rights in forest dwelling, scheduled tribes, FDST, and other traditional forest dwellers. The eligibility is individuals or communities residing in forest land for at least 3 generations, 75 years prior to December 13 to 2005. The rights recognized under this is title rights, that is ownership up to 4 hectares of cultivation. Next, users rights includes minor forest produce and grazing areas. Next, the relief and development rights, rehabilitation and basic amenities in case of eviction. And finally, the forest management rights with conservation and sustainable use of community forest resource. Next, the authority is Gram Sabha initiates the process of determining individual forest rights or community forest rights. Next, the conservation. Balance forest conservation with livelihood and forest security, that is FDST and OTFD. With this, we have to discuss about the UPSC prelims question paper which have been asked in previous year 2019. Consider the following statements about particularly vulnerable tribal groups in India. First, the PVTGs reside in 18 states and 1 union territory. A stagnant or declining population is one of the criteria for determining PVTG status. There are 95 PVTGs officially notified in the country so far. Irregular or Kondaredi tribes are included in the list of PVTG. The answer is C. That is 1, 2 and 4, and 3 is wrong statement. Now we'll move on to the next topic, that is our editorial analysis. Our editorial analysis topic is the problem with the Karnataka Gig Workers Bill. Gig Workers Bill. So we have to know about why it is in news first. So Karnataka introduced the draft Karnataka platform based gig workers, that is for social security and welfare bill 2024, aiming to provide social security for gig workers. Now with this we have to know about a bill of Karnataka and Rajasthan government. So last month Karnataka introduced the draft Karnataka platform based gig workers, that is social security welfare bill, aimed to providing social security welfare measures for platform based gig workers in a state. Rajasthan had previously enacted a similar law called Rajasthan Platform Based Gig Worker, that is Registration and Welfare Act 2023. Both pieces of legislation are based on a welfare broad model which more appropriate for self-employment, informal workers, and does not address employment relations. Now the rise of gig worker versus work issues have been seen. The growing gig economy is the number of gig and platforms workers in India rising rapidly, projected to reach 23.5 million by 2030. Gig worker is providing livelihoods amid an overall slowdown in employment generation. As per the Economic Survey 2020-21, India has emerged as one of the world's largest countries for flexible staffing or gig workers. Now with this we have to know about the gig economy growth. Its current size is approximately 7.7 million workers. In future projection, it is expected to be rise to 23.5 million by 2029 to 30. Now, the proportion of livelihood is comprising around 4% overall livelihood in a country. The job distribution is distributed as the low skilled jobs has 31% and medium skilled jobs has 47% and high skilled jobs has 22% for low skilled jobs, such as example as cab driving, food delivery, all those things. In middle skilled jobs we have plumbing, beauty service, all those, and high skilled jobs we have graphic design, tutoring, all those things. Now what are the issues seen under this? So the issues are unresolved issues, no minimum earnings, no regulation on working hours, and also the employment relation is not forbidden. Now the employment and gig economy is seen with aggregators who run the platforms consider gig workers as independent contractors and view themselves as technology providers connecting workers and consumers. Workers in the gig economy, however, see aggregators as their employers since the condition of service and terms of employment are set by the aggregators. The gig workers seek fair treatment, improved working conditions, and access to social security as legal entitlements. Now, in UK and India, how it is ruling. In United Kingdom, the Supreme Court ruled that Uber is an employer and existing labor laws apply to Uber drivers. In India, gig and platform workers are included in the Code and Social Security 2020 as informal self-employed workers, but there is no mention of them in other three new labor codes: the Code of Wages, Industrial Relations Code, and Occupational Safety, Healthy and Working Conditions Code. The recent Rajasthan and Karnataka legislations add to this legal landscape. Now, what are the striking issue of the employment relation here? Both Rajasthan Act and the Karnataka Bill avoid defining employment relations in gig work using the term aggregator for app companies instead of employers. Without recognizing employment relation, it is difficult to apply productive labor laws to ensure minimum wage, occupational safety, and healthy working hours and leave entitlements and the right to collective bargaining. Now, what is the core issue seen here? The welfare board model adopted by Rajasthan and Karnataka provides some welfare scheme for gig workers but does not replace institutional social security benefits such as provident fund, gratuity, and maternity benefits. So historically, welfare broad models have been seen poorly implemented, as with the Construction Workers Welfare Act 1996 and Unorganized Work Social Security Act, where available funds were inadequately used. With this, we have to know about the who are the gig workers. So the gig workers are the individuals who work on a temporary, flexible basis, often for multiple clients or companies, performing tasks or providing services. They are typically independent contractors rather than the traditional employees, which means they have more control over when, where, and how they work. So the gig economy, a free market system in which temporary positions are common, and organizations contract with independent workers for short-term and engagements. So that's all from this topic. Our next topic is about mapping. Under mapping, today we'll see the Indus River system. So it originates from the glacier near Bokhar Chu in the Tibetan region at an altitude of 4,164 meters in Kailash mountain range near Mansovar Lake. The river flows northwest and enters in Ladakh region in India from a place called Demchok. After entering India, Indus River flows in between Karakoram and Ladakh range, but more closer to Ladakh range. At a place called Dungti, the river takes a sharp southwest turn and cuts through the Ladakh range, and then takes a northwestern course and continues to flow towards the lake region of Ladakh between Ladakh range and Zaskar range. After reaching Lake River continues the northwestern coast and reaches the town of Batalik, which is in the Kargil district. It is joined by the Zaskar River and lake. Near Sakudu, it is joined by the Shyok at the elevation of about 2,700 meters. The Gilgit, Gartang, Drash, Shigar, Hunza are other Himalayan tributaries seen in Indus. The Kabul River empties into the Indus River near Attock, Pakistan. It is the main river in the eastern Afghanistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa provinces of Pakistan. We could find here the Kabul. The river then takes a southwestern course and continues to flow across the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa provinces. Next, it flows through the plain in western and southern Punjab province in Pakistan, and river continues to head towards the Sindhu province of Pakistan. Just above Mithankot, the Indus receives the Panchand, the accumulated waters of five eastern tributaries, that is Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, and the Sutlej. The blind Indus River dolphin, a subspecies of dolphin, is found only in this Indus River. It has the left and right bank tributaries, that is Daskar River, Surus River, Son River, Jhelum, Chenab River, Ravi, Bis, Sutlej, Panjat are the major left bank tributaries. Right banks are Shaijok, Gilgit, Hunza, Swat, Kunar, Kuram, Gomal, Kabul. So these are the right bank tributaries. So that's all from our today's topics. To read this document, you can visit our website. Our website link have been provided in the description. To get more daily current affairs videos, follow our YouTube channel, also our Telegram channel. Thank you.